can't even imagine,
Yeah.
because we know how some relationships are. Guys, what? You gonna quit your corporate job?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're gonna start off
Yeah.
from the very beginning with nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That takes some guts and some
It
sacrifice,
does.
right? And some belief in yourself.
You took the words out of my mouth. You have to believe in yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself. Give yourself goals.
Welcome to the Tissue Box Podcast. I'm your host, Pam Jordan. Now, in this episode, we're so excited about, we sit down with the remarkable Porche Jackson, the dynamic owner of Luxe Beauty Medspa in Hartsville, South Carolina. Now, Porche is not only a successful entrepreneur, but also a devoted wife and mom, juggling multiple roles with grace and determination. Join us as we delve into her inspiring journey, exploring how she turned her passion for beauty and wellness into a thriving business that is making a significant impact in her community. Get ready for an engaging conversation filled with insights, motivation, and practical tips from a woman who truly embodies resilience and ambition. Porche, you tell us that this is kind of difficult time for you right now. And again, it's because you decided to go back to school, right? And you work daily, you go to school afterwards. When do you find time? How do you fit your husband and your child in there?
Right now, I'm telling myself I'm a season of I'm inside. Everybody loves screaming I'm outside.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm just don't want to do too much, not trying to overextend myself with like events and doing other things. So on the weekends, I'm trying to spend time with my family, catch up on schoolwork, homework, housework.
So surely you get burnt out.
Yeah.
Surely you there comes a time when you like, you know what, I can't take it no more. I can't do it anymore. In those moments, how do you get through that? How?
I have to practice what I preach. I talk to a
good.
lot of ladies about self-care and I have to tell myself I need to do that too. I have to remind myself you can't pour from an empty cup, and to know when it's okay to set boundaries, know when what my body needs and when I need to get out of the house and have a little bit of fun, but I'm having to just practice balance.
Yeah. So I imagine, because I know myself, when I'm like super stressed and I got a lot on me, I tend to snap.
Yes.
Not intentionally, because truly that's not who I am. But when you are packed with so much stuff, it comes a point where the least little thing just agitates you, and you just, does that ever happen?
It does. It does. But getting back to that balance and sometimes I even have to do little exercises to help me. And some exercise for me may be to make a to-do list. And if I can't get this done today, then it's all right. You can do it on the next day. Or even something like working out has helped a lot. It's a stress reliever.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, who don't need to move around a little bit? So I'm trying to do little exercises like that and listening to podcasts, reading books, just something to just help ease my mind. I'm kind of getting into meditation a little bit.
Okay.
And just quieting my mind, but that's kind of new. I'm learning a little bit more about it.
I've always wanted to do that, but my mind is just so busy all the time. It's racing. I'm like, when are you going to find time to meditate?
Yeah.
But it's important. So we have to do that, especially when we're as busy as we are. We have our careers, we have our families, and there's got to be a balance in there somewhere.
That's true.
Right? It's important enough to say, you know what? Just go take a walk. If it's nothing more than just taking a walk, that's what you need to do to kind of free your mind and get yourself together.
Yeah, that's true.
So, what's a typical day like in the med spa, in the Luxe Day Spa for you?
Well, it depends on what day of the week it is. Because right now I'm doing school Monday through Thursday typically from 4 to 10. I stopped taking my last clients a little early, so even I feel guilty about that sometimes because most women are 9-to-5ers.
Right.
So if someone's decided to come after work, I'm not available. I feel bad about that at times as well. So my typical day is I'm starting my morning probably about 6 to 6:30. taking my son to school or the bus stop, and then going to the spa. And I'm leaving a few minutes early so I can go to school.
Mm.
On Tuesdays, I come to Florence. Tuesday is the Florence location.
Okay.
So it's
Two locations.
two locations.
Nice.
So it's that same ball game again. Taking my son to school, client, school, and then back home.
So how's the traveling? Does that weigh on you a little
It
bit?
does.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
But it's okay though.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm telling. It's a season.
It's a season.
It's a season.
So how much more schooling do you have before you?
Probably about 700 to 800 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're gonna get through it because I see that you're doing the right things.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the right things to keep you mentally focused and aware of what you're doing and when you need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And that mental clarity is just. I imagine a day at the spa though.
Yeah.
You can't get much better mental health and focus than that.
That's
true.
True.
And I imagine that seeing the joy and the responses on your clients' faces when they're done with their treatment.
Yeah, it relaxes me. That's why I love facial so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a quiet moment. The room is quiet. I get to rest my mind and be into the service itself. So it relaxes me.
So what type of services do you provide other than the facial?
Okay, so facials, full body hair removal from brows to feet. Typically, I feel like an OBGYN. I see vaginas all day long.
No way.
So, yeah.
So the girls come in to get that.
Mm-hmm.
What type of treatment is that?
So that is the hair removal. So we do sugaring and we do waxing. So I love sugaring because it's all natural. It's 3 ingredients. It's lemon, sugar, and water. And that's what the ancient Egyptians used years ago for hair removal. Okay. It's not hot like wax. The results are a little bit better. The hair is finer. So
is it just as painful as the wax?
A little less painful.
I like
a little
that.
less painful. A little less painful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then so we're doing all kind of facials. We're doing the hair removal from brows to the Brazilians, and then we also doing our new services, our head spa. So that's relaxing as well.
So tell us a little bit about the head spa.
So the head spa
intriguing.
It is very intriguing, but it's a service that been doing ages in other cultures as well, where it's almost like a facial for your hair. It's a double cleanse, it's exfoliation. We may do a detox, just whatever your hair needs. We're doing massages, scalp stimulations. We're doing a scalp analysis at the beginning of the service and the end, so you can see the difference. As well as the hydrotherapy at the end. It's just like a rain fall over your head.
So you can tell the difference from a treatment in one treatment. You can tell the difference in the scalp. We start
you off by looking at your scalp. So if we see a lot of oil on your scalp, we see a little bit of dandruff, you see it from the beginning. And then when we finish at the end of the service and we blow dry you off, you elect to leave your natural hair out, we show you the scalp at the end. And it's interesting seeing your scalp magnified.
So how did you get into that?
I've seen it trending on social media, and I'm like, you know what? With the beauty industry, that's one thing I learned from day one. Mm-hmm. You have to be ever evolving. You have to kind of stay above the trends, and sometimes you got to realize when something is truly just a trend and if it's going to serve you and your clients. But then I felt like it would be different, and with me going back to the hair side of things, I'm like, I want to do this service, and it's an experience.
And so, how are your clients typically after?
They loving it.
Really?
I've not had anybody that stay up the whole time. Everybody sleep, and we start that service off with a mini facial as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We start off with a facial as well.
Wow, this is amazing. So you're getting positive feedback, and your business is growing, obviously with 2 locations. Yeah. So how does that make you feel as a Black woman, as a young Black woman? How does that make you feel looking back and just trying to, take in everything that's happening in your life right now?
It feels good because the second location came about from my first 6 months in business. I knew I will be going to a second location. You know how some people love to say Black women don't stick together, women don't stick together.
We hear that all the time.
I'm a girl's girl. I've never had that experience. Never had that experience. So since pretty much my day one in business, I've had half of my clients commute from 30 or more minutes to get services by you from me. Wow. Since day one. So I knew Florence was like, in the back of my mind, I would get to Florence eventually because I've had so many clients come from Florence, Darlington, Chirral, or even further outside area, Bishopville. So most of my clients commute, at least half of them. So when I started Florence, I already had the clients. I just had a space, and I got to that space because of the location I met. Miss Kendria, she was a client, and she commuted from to Florence to Hartsville for like 2 years. So it just kind of just flowed.
The support from Black women,
from
our
Black
sisters.
women, from our sisters.
That is amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
It just flowed.
That's great. So location number 3, possibly?
Oh, no, I think I'm good with these two. I want to get a little bit more into education.
Okay.
A little bit more into education.
So you want to teach?
Want to teach.
Okay.
And I like some people do good in big classrooms. I'm more of a hands-on, small setting person.
Intimate.
So if someone is a hairstylist or esthetician and they want to do a one-on-one facial class, they want to do waxing, can come to my space and we do, or I can come to their space and we can do more of an intimate learning, a little hands-on experience. So I'm big on taking classes, big on education. So I want to get more into that side of things.
So what would you say your biggest challenge was in all of this, from the beginning to now? What has been your biggest challenge?
I think in this season, going back to school, as someone who's already got an established business, and someone who's going back to school as an adult and a mom.
Yeah. And you came to that decision, like, how did you have to? How did that come about? Because I'm thinking, you're, like you said, you're so successful in what it is that you're doing, and so you make the decision that's going to take you away from your family even more. You know, how do?
I think sometimes you set personal goals, and it was a personal goal to go to the highest that I can in this career, in this field. Okay. And I knew going back with the cosmetology license would be kind of like the top, because they license cover everything. So I knew once I get that, I can go into other avenues. So I knew that was like eventually going back to school for cosmetology, full cosmetology, and that would kind of be like the top in this beauty industry.
So in your business, I'm sure you have a staff and all, but when people personally want you to perform their services, how does that work out? Because I'm sure it happens.
It does. It does. I don't take new clients for hair removal anymore, unless it's the Florence location. Okay. But the Hartsville location, they will have to see another member of the team.
Okay.
Yeah, and that gets them booked and busy. Building relationships, and but certain skin conditions, skin concerns, I'll take new clients. I'll take new clients for that.
Yeah. So are you like your staff and your clients right now? Are you're satisfied with where you are right now? Do you see the potential? Like, are you in a place where you say, I want more, I want more, I want more? Are you like kind of even right now?
I'm very satisfied. I think to the point where wanting more, it's twofold, because I want a little bit more on the hair side. I want to get to the point where I can make wigs, things like that. But at the same time, I want to step back a little bit more. I want a little bit of flexibility. So I would love to get to the point where that I can have one less day where I can do wigs, where I can come out a little bit and, teach a little bit. I think even wanting more, maybe even less weekends, so it's kind of twofolded. You want a little bit more, but then you kind of want to see yourself stepping back a little bit too.
Right, right. And then you have to, your family you have to think about and put into that equation as well. So you're like, but if you got a 15-year-old, he's probably doing his own thing anyway, right? Yeah.
He ain't driving yet. He's practicing to drive. But I think once he get that full-on license, he ain't gonna be thinking about me. And then I'm seeing now like how much he's in high school now. So it's like, I got a little bit more time. So it makes you want to hold on a little tighter.
Oh, yeah.
So, the summer vacations and the spending time where you making more memories, because 3 or 4 years you're going to be off in college. So
you purposely have to tell yourself, I need to take a break. I need to take a vacation with my family, and we need to go off, and we just need to digress, and
being a business owner, having that flexibility, like maybe a few years back when the school started to the modified year round, they'll take that week break in like fall and summer. It makes me take that week off too so that I can spend time with my family.
Oh, and that's super important.
It's very important.
Super important. So what would you tell an aspiring person? I'm not going to say female or brother, or what would you tell them right now, where you are and what you've witnessed and what you've gone through? What would be the best advice that you could give them if they're actually thinking about going into business for themselves?
I would say there's nothing wrong with starting off a little small. There's nothing wrong with starting off in a hair salon where you're learning from other people. You're learning, and learning sometimes is not always skill. It can be personality. It could be on how somebody else run their business. It could be on clients. It just can be salon atmosphere. You're learning in everything you do. You may say, okay, I want to be in somewhere that's a team environment. You may say, I'm learning I'd rather be by myself solo in a suite,
right,
or working from home, or somewhere where it's just me and just that client. So I would just say learn as much as you can, take as many classes as you can with education, and even when it comes to education, some stuff I would tell an entrepreneur is self-development, money management, time management.
so important.
And even some of the simple things is just healing trauma, or just it can go so deep. Just true self-development, because self-development can be a long range of things.
Right. And just from your experience, I mean, you went to school, you were living the dream, you had your corporate America job, very lucrative, and people would look at you and it's like, well, she has it all.
Yeah. Why start over?
Yeah, why start over? Why would you just want to get out of that?
Yeah.
But there was something about it that just wasn't quite right with you.
And I was a little iffy because I went back to school almost 30.
Yeah.
Going back to cosmetology school a little later in life is different. And I always tell myself not to have no regrets. Like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I would have did this sooner. I could go to the awards program with my son and not have to, get off work, or something going on, you can't get off work, or I could have did this and did that. But everything happens for a reason. So sometimes you have to tell entrepreneurship, you might be to learn something at a previous job that's just going to help you in your entrepreneurship field as well.
Especially just that piece of advice but personally, someone will know if they're not comfortable in a situation. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how prestigious your job is. If there's something in there that's telling you, you need to go this way. Yeah. You need to listen.
You do.
So I'm very proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
And very proud of your support, the support you have from your family and your husband, because I can't even imagine, because we know how some relationships are. Guys, what? You gonna quit your corporate job?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna start off from the very beginning with nothing? Wow. Yeah. That takes some guts and some sacrifice, right? And some belief in yourself.
You took the words out of my mouth. You have to believe in yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself, give yourself goals. And I feel like looking back, that's what I had to prove to myself. I didn't leave this job that I was on for 10 years. I mean, I had just hit 3 weeks vacation.
Wow.
Super comfortable. I got uncomfortable, but I realized I had to prove to myself I can make it. I had to prove to myself. And I think that was a underlying drive from then, and a little bit now. I've eased up on myself now, but it was a drive. I got to make it. I didn't gave up something that was familiar that most people wouldn't probably have done.
Right.
So
you have that in the back of your mind, like, I got to make it. I have no other choice. Yeah. I got to do this.
That's true.
Starting over. We talked about that, right? And how difficult that must have been. How did that affect your family life?
It affected a lot. It's affecting it now because I'm in that moment now.
Yeah.
So the roles are reversed, and I'm not sure if I would be able to finish school as a business owner I shouldn't say finished because I probably would be able to get through it, but I'm not as stressed because I got a supportive husband.
That's awesome.
I got a supportive husband, but I was nervous coming back to him saying I'm thinking about going to school.
You were nervous.
I was nervous.
How did that conversation go?
It went easy. It went easy. I think in the moment he was like, okay, you know, whatever you need from me, whatever you need me to do. And at the time, my son was just starting basketball, so he knew it was gonna be a challenge because it's not only just going to games; it's the everyday practices, it's the Monday through Thursdays dinner. So
how did that go? Because girl, you busy.
Yeah, so I try to have leftovers on Sundays and do a little bit of meal prepping on the week, but it ain't going too good. I'm not big on leftovers, so my husband just has to handle that part.
So he does the cooking.
He does the cooking because by the time I get home at 10, I'm not eating that late.
So
and my son may be already be in bed asleep. He may have a chance for me to tell him good night. I love him, and sometimes they both sleep when I get home. So it's challenging. It's challenging.
So when you come home and you meet him, your husband, after this long, rigorous day that you had, how do you talk? Do you take time to talk? If he's asleep, do you wake him up and talk? Have a conversation with him, or you just so tired? Girl, how you do your wifely duties? That's what I'm trying to ask without asking, because I'm thinking that's an important part. And when you're so busy, even though he is supportive, how does that affect your marriage?
Sundays he's up when I'm home, and some nights he's not. So if he's up, we'll talk. And if he's not, and I might talk to him a few minutes before coming home from school, letting him know I'm jumping on the road. But coming on back roads, South Carolina, reception might not be good. So I'm not always having a chance to talk constantly to and from school. So, and then I have mom guilt. I have guilt because I thought my son was going to be kind of free this season, and he decided to do something new like track. So that was just. I felt bad because my husband would have to be doing all the practicing and the meets and
what you're missing. You're
and what
not
I'm
being
missing
able to see him.
To see him. So it's a challenge, but I just telling myself and that it's just for a season. And I try to make up for on the weekends too.
So how's your conversation with him then? Your 15-year-old, does he understand what mom is doing and why she's doing it? You're setting an example for him.
Yeah, and I think him and my husband see how much hard work I'm putting in, even from my laptop being out, the studying and some stuff I can't get done on the week, me doing it on the weekend. So I think it makes it easy for them that they see I'm dedicated to it. They see the work I'm putting in for it. So, and I always tell them it's gonna pay off. I'm gonna surprise y'all later with something.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Do you have a tissue box moment?
I would say I'm still in it, to be transparent, but I feel like I've starting to put some practices in place to help me overcome it, and this the schooling, and it's just because there's so much change.
If you're going through it, what makes it feel like a tissue box moment for you?
I feel like it's my tissue box moment because I can see the end goal, and I can see how I've adjusted it to the hardest hurdle of it. So I can see where I can just keep going a little bit. I made these adjustments, and then I'm gonna be okay.
Right. So it's the mental pull, the mental trying to keep it all balanced, trying to keep your family life, your business life, your own personal goals, your schooling. That's a lot.
It is. I feel like I've overcame it a little bit because I've learned how to adjust. The first 2 months, I felt like I was drowning.
What did that feel like when you say I feel like I was drowning? I mean, I want our audience to understand what that feels like.
It felt like not having balance. It felt like not having a routine.
Frustrating,
and even seeing where things then decline in my business. So I'm having to go back and focus. And when I say declining, my struggle is social media. And so I'm having to, like, you busy doing services, you filming content, but sometimes having the chance to edit it and to put the captions out there. That's one area I see where me going back to school has kind of slacked off a little bit, where it's something I kind of having to get back focused on. And then in that moment, if I don't have time during the week, I'm still taking from my family on typically on a Sunday, sometimes afternoon, to kind of get stuff like that done. So now that I've kind of gone through it, I've had a chance to adjust it. I feel like I've overcame it because I'm at the end of it now.
Okay, but when you were going through that, you didn't feel like that.
I didn't. I found myself complaining a lot too. So I had to backtrack and say, I chose to go to school during this season. Let me look at the positives. Let me enjoy the moment. Let me enjoy the season that I am in.
Girl, you busy.
I like to exercise a little bit, so I like to get on my exercise bike, and that helps. And what I love about the exercise bike, I can kind of do multiple things at one time, so I can kind of multitask. So
you still working?
I'm still working. So I may be listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to a book, or I'm starting like a guided meditation where it's kind of almost like affirmations, so that kind of keeps you motivated too. But
that's a great tip.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's something new that I've been liking as well.
Good. You know what? I need to book my appointment. Can I book my appointment right now?
You can.
For my because I'm telling you about my scalp.
Mm-hmm.
It's super sensitive, and I love massages, but a good old shampoo and somebody massaging my scalp, nothing like it. So I'm super excited about that portion of your business and that particular service. Yes. So I'm need to book my appointment.
It's an experience. You're gonna enjoy it.
Okay, do I get you?
Yeah, you get me.
Okay. Yeah. This is awesome. We've had such a great time talking with you today, and we need for you to let everybody know how to get in touch with you, girl, because people want to know.
Our socials are on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, Lux Beauty and Medspa, and our website is luxbeautyandmedspa.com.
And where are you located? Your two locations?
Yeah, so downtown Hartsville and inside Practical Purpose Solution in Florence on 2nd Loop.
Okay. Awesome. Yes. Well, we'll be seeing you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Tissue Box Podcast. We're so glad that you joined us and tuned in today. And if you would like to hear more about Portia's story, be sure to follow her on her social medias. And you can find out more about her business and the Tissue Box Podcast on thetissuebox.com. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, leave rating, and a review. And let's stay connected. Visit thetissuebox.com to join our mailing list. Until next time.